Hey everyone, welcome back. It feels like the world's moving at warp speed these days, doesn't it? Like you're always trying to catch up, keep up, always on.
Yeah, I feel that.
And that can take a toll, right? I mean,
Oh,
especially in our mental health.
oh, absolutely.
That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay, cool.
We're taking a deep dive into prioritizing mental health, well-being in a fast-paced world.
Catchy title.
It is. And it's not just a bunch of fluffy feel-good stuff.
Oh, good.
This piece really digs into the nitty-gritty of what it means to prioritize your mental health,
All right.
especially in our crazy, chaotic world. And get this, one of the things that really stood out to me was how the source defines mental health.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
It's not just about not being sick.
Right, right.
It's about a whole lot more.
Yeah, they talk about it being like this whole spectrum, right? It's
Yeah.
more than just, oh, do you have a mental illness or not? They're saying it's emotional, psychological, of social well-being. Like all these pieces fit together.
Right, like it's not just one thing.
It affects how we think. It affects how we feel.
Right.
And it affects how we act. And those things impact everything. How we handle stress, how we make decisions, our relationships.
It's all connected. It's kind of like,
I always think of it like a three-legged stool, you know?
ooh, I like that.
You need all three eggs for that stool to be stable.
That's a good one. Okay, so it's not about like being happy all the time, right?
No, no, not at all.
It's more about having those tools, those skills.
Resilience, yeah. Being able to bounce back.
Exactly. To handle whatever life throws at you.
And the source makes this really cool comparison, too.
Oh,
They say to think of mental health like a muscle.
okay.
You know, just like physical fitness, it needs regular attention, work. The more you strengthen that mental health muscle, the more resilient you become.
I like that. So like the stronger your mental health muscle, the better you can handle stress, pressure.
Exactly. It's like building up your mental stamina, you know?
Yeah. Which, let's be honest, we need a lot of these days.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, modern life can be so demanding.
Absolutely.
The source actually talks about how this constant pressure to hustle and achieve can really impact our mental well-being.
You know, it's funny. It's like we're all supposed to be on all the time,
Right.
killing it at work, having these amazing social lives, you know, just perfect all the time. And the source specifically talks about social media and how that plays into all this.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They cite studies showing how social media use, especially for young people, is linked to more anxiety, more depression.
Yet you're constantly comparing yourself
Yeah, it's all this comparison stuff.
to these like curated highlight reels.
Exactly. Like everyone else is perfect, which of course we know isn't true.
Right.
But it's hard not to feel, you know, inadequate sometimes.
Totally. So, okay, we're facing all these pressures.
Yeah.
What do we do about it?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The source really emphasizes this idea that we need to start treating mental health with the same urgency as physical health.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
It does. We go to the doctor for checkups, right? We try to eat healthy, exercise.
But we don't always do the same for our minds.
Exactly. And the piece gives some really practical ways to actually do that.
Okay. Like what?
Well, they talk about education,
Right.
like learning about mental health conditions, but also understanding the warning signs in ourselves and others.
So being able to spot the signs of like burnout.
Yes, like changes in sleep patterns, withdrawing from people.
Oh, okay.
You know, recognizing these things early can make a huge difference. It's like learning mental health CPR almost.
I love that analogy. Okay, what else?
Community support is another big one.
Right.
Having those people you can talk to, you know, your friends, your family.
Yeah, yeah.
Or even online support groups. It's about creating an environment where it's okay to not be okay. And I think social media can actually be a good thing here sometimes.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, the source talks about how there are all these mental health advocates online now,
Oh, right, right.
sharing their stories, breaking down stigma.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
It makes it less scared to talk about.
Makes sense. So we've got education, community support. What was the third piece?
Accessible mental health services.
Right, right.
That means removing all those barriers that stop people from getting help.
Like cost, right?
Yeah, cost is a huge one. But also just knowing where to go, feeling comfortable reaching out.
It can be intimidating.
It can. And, you know, the source argues that if we were more proactive about mental health care, we could actually prevent a lot of these problems from getting worse.
Kind of like how we go to the doctor for annual checkups.
Exactly. Preventative care.
Okay, I'm with you.
But there's a big piece of this puzzle that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, what's that?
Stigma.
Right, yeah, the source talks about that a lot.
It's like this invisible force that keeps people from getting help.
Keeps them silent.
Exactly. You know, they cite a study saying only about 40% of people with mental health conditions actually get treatment.
Wow. That's really low.
It is, and you have to wonder why. Why is there still so much shame around mental health?
It's 2025. Why are we still whispering about this?
I think part of it is just, you know, historical stuff.
Oh, yeah, all those old attitudes.
Yeah, like it's a sign of weakness or something. But I think it also comes from not understanding what mental health really is.
Like thinking it's a choice.
Right, like you can just snap out of it.
Yeah, just choose to be happy.
Exactly. But the source makes a really important point.
Which is
It's a health issue. It deserves the same care and compassion as any other health issue, period.
so well said. Wow, this has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
I've covered a lot, but it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
There's always more to learn.
Always. But what I really appreciate is that this source doesn't just talk about the problems, it actually gives us some tools to use, some steps we can take.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that prioritizing our mental health is an act of self-care. It's not selfish, it's essential.
So true. So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
Think about one small step you can take today to invest in your own mental well-being.
Maybe it's taking a break from social media,
Or finally reaching out to that therapist.
or just being a little kinder to yourself.
Yes, even the smallest actions can make a big difference.
They really can.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye, everyone.